Welcome everyone to Aguilas del Desierto's YouTube channel, a very new channel, about 4 weeks old, and this is our first ever video for all our English speakers who support us and follow us. We're so grateful. If you like this video, click the like button and please subscribe. We would love to be able to live stream on our YouTube channel, but YouTube requires that we have 1,000 subscribers for that. We would ask you to please help us out, at least by subscribing. If you want more information about Aguilas del Desierto, our contact information, our website, all of that is in the description box below. Every search starts off with specific information. We never just go into the field for a random search. We're always looking for someone in particular, and we have an exact location of where that person was last heard from. And once we have that more specific information, we'll organize a search. It's very costly to organize a search, so right now we are able to go out into the field about once a month. We would love to be out there every day. That is our dream. That is our goal, because we get upwards of 1,500 calls a year from people asking for help, asking for information, asking if we know anything about what happened to their loved one. They're desperate to know, desperate for that help. Since 1996, over 7,000 people have died in our desert along the border. And these are just the people we know about. So Aguilas has made it their mission to save lives at the border. That is what we're trying to do. Saturday morning, on the day of the search, volunteers will start arriving. There will be a small crew that will arrive Friday night at the campsite and start setting things up, but most volunteers will come on Saturday morning. Some are morning people. You can see they're pretty wide awake. Most of them have been driving since 1 or 2 a.m., and we are so grateful for our volunteers. Some of them are wide awake, and some of them are trying to still catch just a few more minutes of sleep. It is beautiful. The sun hasn't quite gotten up yet. The vehicles are packed with all kinds of supplies and gear that we're going to need for the day. All of our volunteers have their own personalities. And even some of our vehicles have personality. This vehicle has been with us for quite some time, and it still is serving us. Fortunately, some of our volunteers are mechanics. Some of our volunteers are 4-footed volunteers. That is Luna. She is one of our volunteer pups, and you will just see her. She hangs out at camp a lot. The sunrises in the desert are very beautiful. There's something special about being up before the sun. It's a really beautiful time, especially in the desert. So it's going to be pretty cold though, especially early in the morning, so our volunteers are covered up. They have masks on for safety. Once everyone arrives, they will be trucked into the search location. It would just be too much to bring all those vehicles into the desert. So searchers will leave their vehicles at one point and then be trucked in. Some of them, as you can see there, just barely see, a few of them have those white crosses in their backpacks. Those crosses were made by a volunteer, Leonard Velasquez, and every time that we find a body in the desert, we will place a cross there to remember that person, to honor them, and to mark that place so that hopefully in the future, family members could return and visit the spot if they were able to. Everyone needs to have lots of water and hydration. A little bit of an excitement. It's the first day. You want to get started, hoping to bring closure to families. Everyone makes sure they know how the search will go that day, making sure it's organized. All of our searchers must wear hats. Hats are mandatory. The sun is very strong in the desert, and so everybody has to wear a hat. Again, you see some of those white crosses. It's beautiful in the desert, although the desert is very harsh. She's like a lion, as our co-founder has said. She's like a lion. You'll see some of our searchers carrying those red flags. They're group leaders. The more experienced searchers watch out for the other searchers. And some of our experienced searchers are young. They are the next generation of Aguilas. Very faithful, these kids. They've been on a lot of searches. Our volunteers come from all walks of life, all different ages, sizes, genders, but what they all have in common are big hearts. A few last-minute instructions from the field coordinator, Ellie Ortiz. Maps are handed out. Everyone gathers around. Aho Jean, there on the left, he's one of our few volunteers that lives in Arizona, very nearby. Our volunteers have been with us for years. It's like a family. Every search begins with a prayer, asking for God's protection, asking for God to help us and be with us, bless us, protect everyone who might be crossing, help us to find who we're looking for, help us to bring closure to families, help us to save lives. We couldn't do this without God's help. And then the search officially begins. This is the terrain the searchers will be walking today. It's flat for sure, but you can see all the bushes and cactus. Searchers spread about 50 feet apart and try to keep each other in sight. They are looking for belongings, looking for remains, looking for any particular smells, looking to see if there are any birds circling a particular area. Watching out for the cactus, that is a cholla. Its barbs easily hook onto you. So easily that it doesn't even seem like you touch it and it hooks on. That's why they call it the jumping cactus. It's beautiful country. The desert is amazing, but it's also like a lion, as co-founder Ellie says, and it claims many lives. It's hard work searching, climbing through all the shrubs and trees, but we search this area because this is one of the routes crossers take. These saguaro cactuses you see here, they don't grow anywhere else in the world. They are amazing, very beautiful. They can get as tall as trees, and they are just as heavy as trees. They're like sentinels in the desert. They could only tell us what they've seen. So you can see here everyone is still trying to keep sight of each other. You would be surprised, but it is very easy to get separated from the group. Maybe not necessarily in this area, but once you hit the arroyos and the hills, it is easy to get separated. Here, the field coordinator, Ellie Ortiz, and the crew go up for a bird's eye view of the area where the search is happening. It's a gorgeous view, but those rocks, climbing up there is very challenging. After a couple of hours of searching, the group takes a break, make sure everyone hydrates, rests. This would be a great time to change your socks, take a rest. Back at base camp, the support crew is preparing some lunch for the volunteers. It looks pretty amazing. When searchers finally get back to this point, they will be incredibly hungry. To them, this will taste like a gourmet meal. It'll be very delicious. And some of our volunteers are a little shy. Many families come with kids. This group has a whole bunch of really ice-cold drinks prepared. Oh, there's Luna, our 4-footed volunteer again. She's on the cleanup crew. I'm sure if anything falls off that table, she will clean it up. Ellie Ortiz, our founder and president, chopping some onions. I can't tell if he's crying. Over here, they're making, looks like lots of eggs and ham. Looks delicious. Searchers are going to love this. This is a real treat. We take very good care of our searchers. That looks delicious. After lunch, I'm back out searching again. Now the terrain is getting a little more challenging. This is where the crossers walk. This is where we search. This is why you need to have very good hiking boots. You need ankle support. You need that traction. You need to be able to get up and down these rocks. If you don't have really good shoes and hiking boots, you'll twist your ankles so easily. And everybody has to have a walking stick. You can't go up and down these hills without it. It's hard work. Very hard work. You can see his leg gaiters there. After a while, if you just don't pay attention to the cactus as much, it's impossible to avoid them all. It takes at least 8 to 10 days to cross this area, and a lot of times crossers are not prepared. We have found little girl's shoes, high-heeled shoes, in the desert with her purse full of makeup and lip gloss, a purse full of dreams. If you don't have hiking boots, you can see you get cactus thorns in your shoe, you can get rocks right through the bottoms of your shoes. Footwear is probably the third leading reason why crossers do not survive. We have had searchers. It's been so hot in the desert that the shoes have become unglued. They've just completely fallen apart just from the heat. If you lose your shoes in the desert, it's doubtful that you would survive. An 8-day trip becomes a 10, 15, 16-day trip, and you just don't have enough water for that. Oh, at the end of all that hiking up and down, searching, these trucks are a welcome sight. They're actually going to the pickup point to be there when the volunteers get there. It's a lot of coordination, a lot of people to organize, a lot of people who are doing different things so that the volunteers can search and look for the lost. You know, as I said before, since 1996, 7,000 people have died in these desert areas. Why more people are not crying out about it, I don't know. And the desert will claim lives. The desert is a lion. You have to respect her. A lion you do not approach lightly. This is the pickup point. This is where the searchers will end the search for the day. They'll get into these trucks and get driven back to where the other vehicles are. Now they're all set to pick up the volunteers. It's getting dark, but they're finally back, packing up their gear, taking a break. It's a hard day's work, but we love it. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video, and thank you so much for your comments, your prayers, your support. We really do appreciate it very much. As I said before, our goal, our dream is to be out here every day. We just need funding. We have upwards of 1,500 calls every year. That's at least 3 calls a day of families looking for their loved ones, asking for help, asking if there's anything we can do. So if you could support us, we would greatly appreciate it. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And if you could support us by subscribing, we would greatly appreciate it. And if you'd like to make a donation to support our dream of being out here every day, you can go to www.aguilasdeldesierto.org and click on the donate button. All that information is in the description box below. Gracias, gracias. Thank you for watching our first English YouTube.